Okay. The word I kept hearing today was expansion. And so we are in a place and in a state of being now where God in the universe is creating more expansion for us. We are, right now, it is such a spiritual awakening on this earth. But you have to be willing to go to the levels of expansion. Expansion does not mean material possessions, but expansion mentally, expansions spiritually, expansions in your purpose, in your passion in life, expansion in what you were created and destined to do in this lifetime. So we are living in a state right now of being of expansion. Expansion is being willing to understand that in the midst of everything else that you're going through, that you're expanding. Even if it means that you're going through some rough patches, but it's expansion. And I'll use this as an example as expansion. And I just heard, I think it was Star Vibes. She used this on her video as this example, and it was so perfect. And she said that it was the analogy of Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. When Will took Carlton into the roughest neighborhood. And he thought that if he took Carlton into this roughest part of the neighborhood and put him around all of these like thugs and stuff, that Carlton was going to fail. You know, he was going to fold. He was going to just fall apart. Okay. But as you look at it, what happened with Carlton? Carlton ended up expanding in that very atmosphere. So the very thing that Will meant to harm Carlton, he ended up expanding in that very atmosphere. And he ended up becoming one of the top dogs. So what is that showing us? That sometimes we get put in positions and situations where we trying to figure out, okay, why am I here and all of this stuff. But see, what God in the universe is trying to get us to see, that if you in that position, you in that position for expansion, not to get comfortable. So expansion doesn't mean you're going to be comfortable. Expansion sometimes means being willing to get uncomfortable to get to the purpose and the place of what you need to do. So if you look at it with Will and Carlton was very uncomfortable going into that atmosphere and that in everything that was going on. But what did he do? He embraced it. He embraced that very atmosphere. He embraced everything that was around him. And what did he do? He embraced it enough to expand in that very circumstance and came out the top dog. So was it uncomfortable for him at first? Yes. Did he fear it at first? Yes. But what he did learn how to do in it, he didn't fold, he didn't run, he didn't go back home. He didn't go back home to the mansion. He didn't do any of that. He stayed in it. Even in his uncomfortableness, he stayed in it until he can get familiar with it, until he can expand in that, until he can learn that this is a new field, a new territory that I have to go ahead and step into, but I got to be uncomfortable in order to expand in this very thing, in order for expansion to happen in my life. So the example I'm giving you is just that for a lot of where we at right now, this spiritual awakening. It is not going to always be the most comfortablest thing for us. And sometimes it's going to take us to levels that we don't even understand why we got to go. But see, what God in the universe is trying to get us to understand, that if you're willing to go in these uncomfortable areas, see, you got to realize that's where expansion is at. That's where your purpose is at. That's where you're going to find your purpose. That's where you're going to understand what it is that you're supposed to be doing. See, in your uncomfortableness comes your greatness. So when you can allow yourself sometimes to go through those uncomfortable stages, there you will find your greatness. There you will find your expansion. There you will find the very things that's going to push you into your purpose and your passion in life. What you were destined to be and do. So the word I kept getting was expansion. Expansion in your purpose. expansion in your passion, and expansion in what it is that you are destined to do to help the world around you, expansion in owning your own business, expansion in doing what you are gifted to do, whether that means you great at doing art, expansion, being willing to come outside the box, expansion. Even if it's a new relationship, being able to allow yourself to go through those levels of expansion. So this is where we at. God does not want us to self-sabotage the expansions that he's trying to get us to. God does not want us to self-sabotage the uncomfortableness of where we at. God wants us to stand in it. And stand in it knowing that even though you don't know the whole outcome, just understand that this is all expansion. Whether it means expansion mentally, spiritually, physically, this is all expansion for your good. And that was the word God was giving me today, expansion. And sometimes in order to stay in your expansion, you have to always set the intentions to keep your vibrations and your energies high no matter what. Circumstances and things will always come to try to lower your vibrations and energy, but you have to set the intentions on purpose within your mind, within your heart, within your spirit, to keep yourself in high vibration, to keep your energy high. Because only in your high vibrations, only in your high energy is when you're going to continue to excel, when you're going to continue to soar above that uncomfortableness, where you're going to continue to expand in those uncomfortable positions, when you're going to continue to go through expansions in those uncomfortable places. So that was just the word that God gave me today, and I wanted to share it with you. I hope that this can help somebody in where they're at right now. Peace, love, and namaste.